Hey everybody, welcome to a special episode of Any Way You Slice It. I'm Jason Peter. We don't like doing episodes like this, but we want to show our love and appreciation for somebody who's meant a lot to us throughout the decades, and that's Ozzy Osbourne, who passed away today. John Michael Osbourne, born December 3rd, 1948, in England, and died today in England as well. So glad, first of all, I just want to get this out in the open. So glad you got to play that last show a couple weeks ago. It has more meaning now. Watch that back now and watch him sing Mama, I'm Coming Home and tell me you don't get a tear in your eye.
The timing is so close, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really odd the way the timing is.
Yeah.
I have you read about it at all? Read about his passing?
No, they're kind of tight-lipped about it.
Oh,
right
they are?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have much time to sit down and check it out anyway today, but I was just wondering, did they time this because they knew his time was that short, or?
That very well could be a possibility, and I assume we're going to hear more about that kind of thing. It was obviously very emotional, not just for the fans, but for Ozzy himself, and he might have knew. He might have knew the end was near. But so glad it happened after and not before. That's for sure. How tragic would that be?
Yeah. Well, they would have celebrated him. It would have been a big way to celebrate him, of course, but yeah, that would have been too bad if that happened. So today I was driving around doing my things, and I was thinking, why do so many people care? I don't hardly ever hear anybody in my whole life having ever said anything negative about Ozzy.
No, I mean everyone loves Ozzy.
But I was thinking, why though? And I some things hit me right away. Why is he so kind of universal? It's
he's like a working class musician.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean? He's down home. He's genuine.
Yeah,
and he's always kind of been
he's
that
funny.
Way. Yeah.
He's been in awesome bands too.
He has been in a couple.
That's why people like us gravitate towards him.
What's the big show back in '74 that they headlined at Deep Purple?
Oh, California Jam.
California Jam. Like footage show. You see him go nuts on the stage at big shows like that, and then when you see him interviewed, when he's coming or going, or we come out the helicopter or whatever, that footage where he's being interviewed at Cali Jam. He's just a normal guy, and I think, like you said, I think he's just such a likable guy. I've had a couple girlfriends in my life that he was their unobtainable crush on somebody.
Okay.
Out there.
Crush. That's
way up somewhere, Hollywood or whatever it is. For me right now, it's half the cast of CSI, but the original one. Man, those chicks are
the female cast.
Those chicks are, but he's just has an attractive, comfortable thing to him. I don't know. He's funny too.
He's very likable. That's why the reality show did so well. He's likable.
Yeah.
He's very likable.
He's likable. He really doesn't seem like an asshole, maybe unless you cross him or whatever. But And the thing about that voice,
so unique.
True. People have similar voices sometimes, but you really know Ozzy.
Very distinctive voice.
Right away. There's just a quality to it, that's very organic and real. And he doesn't do stupid. He never did stupid stuff with his voice. That Paul Stanley era we always talk about, where he's like
mid-'80s, mid-late 80s.
And a lot of people were always trying to do something different, pushing their voice. I think he knew who he was a long time ago.
Yeah, definitely, and he stuck to it. And talk about a rebirth. He left Sabbath, and his solo career absolutely skyrocketed. I mean, he became more popular than ever.
It's nuts. It's similar to a kind of an AC/DC thing where what are they going to do? And then it's like in Black and Black, oh my God! With Ozzy, it's really cool because it was just him, and he became so powerful just on his own.
Yeah. So let's talk about how we first got into Ozzy. You can go first.
So for me, this album here, not this copy, but I had I think it may have been UK, but it was like a flip top version. It didn't have the poster in it, but it was I think it were UK ones that had the flip top. I had this. I got it in the infamous box of records from my dad, where he introduced me to John McLaughlin and so many good things. The first Van Halen was in there, and this. And a few months later, my dad was telling his friend that I'm really getting into music, and his friend Kenny sent home with my dad one night a really trashed copy of this. And I thought it was the one with the cross inside, but I'm realizing it was just the Warner Brothers. I think it was the standard Warner Brothers one. But it was...
Yeah.
So those are my first two. And I realized right away it was spelled with S's and stuff in the first one, and it changed after a while. There was really a mysterious thing to all of these. But I got into music in like 83, 84, you know. And I got Bark of the Moon. And I traded Bark of the Moon, which is one of my favorite ones. But I traded it for... no, I traded my Master of Reality at the time for Bark of the Moon on cassette. I was 9 or 10. What are you going to do?
Music trading. I remember those days. Not
that Master of Reality is necessarily better. Bark of the Moon is a high point, of course. They're very different, though. But one is a little more classic, you might say. So that was my introduction. So I had Bark of the Moon first, and then those are my first two Sabbaths. And what about you?
You know, growing up in the 70s and starting to play guitar, late 70s, early 80s. You know, every kid has to play Iron Man, right? I was no different. Liked Sabbath, obviously. I remember having the We Sold Our Soul cassette, which is basically their best of. And I remember my friend Tim Ely, who gets mentioned often, rightfully so, because he had an awesome record collection and knew about metal, and he was like my mentor in that way. Had this, the standard version though, the one that didn't open up.
Yeah.
I fell in love with this.
Yeah.
We've done an episode on this, by the way, check it out, with Tony Reed of Pentagram. So, yeah, you know, so I was into Sabbath, obviously. Around that time, Ozzy goes solo. How can you not like Blizzard of Oz and Diary?
Were you into those when they came out?
Yeah, not necessarily like the day they came out, but early 80s,
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, every heavy metal fan was into Ozzy in the early
I remember
80s.
Flying High being on the radio like every day for a long time.
Yeah, I remember Ozzy's, he would always have like MTV concerts. He had one, he had Brad Gillis on guitar. I guess it probably wasn't long after Randy died. There was a Bark at the Moon one. It was really cool. And the thing is, we haven't even really talked about it yet. Ozzy the performer. That guy would walk on stage and he was possessed. He was a madman on stage.
He had an energy. Yeah. But again, it was still likable though. You know, the first year I saw him with the original Sabbath, it was Ozfest here in White River Amphitheater, and here in Washington. And he was kind of slow. He was a little chubby, and he was kind of slow, but he was there, he was doing it. And if I remember right, they played Dirty Women close to the end of the set, and he got pissed off at his voice, and he threw the mic down and made a huge boom, bang sound in the amphitheater, and he was pissed off. And they kind of finished that song without him, and then he came out for whatever the encore was or whatever. But it didn't seem like the best time for him. It was the first time I actually saw him.
Approximately what year was this?
This was the year when Priest got back together with Halford, and they were opening with Hellion Electric Eye, and they came out the eye and everything.
96-ish.
Yeah, so then the next year was the year that it was, I think it was Slayer, Iron Maiden, Bruce had come back recently, 2 years in a row, and the openers for Sabbath for the original quartet were Priest and Maiden the next year, with both their original singers came back. It was an awesome couple of years of Ozfest. And that's the year that Sharon was having somebody cut the power on Maiden during their... They did that at a couple shows because they were fighting with Iron Maiden or whatever, but probably Ozzy had nothing to do with it, probably.
No, I didn't even know.
So anyway, that was a really cool tour, and Ozzy was thinner, and I saw muscle tone, and he was jumping around, he was throwing pails of water on people left and right, and he was just screaming, and it was a joy to see him.
Okay.
It was a joy to see that difference from year to year,
Yeah, I've seen Ozzy 3 times, I believe, all solo. Never seen him with Sabbath, unfortunately.
Never did?
Oh. I seen Sabbath with Tony Martin.
That's cool. That's cool.
At that Temple Theater here.
Oh yeah.
With Motorhead opening up.
Wow.
That was 1995.
I gotta say, I wish you could have been there at those shows, because I'm sitting here with my friend Dave, and then a couple seats over, there's like 15-year-old girls knowing every word to every song. They're screaming and yelling and crying.
That's the thing. Like,
it was
we're
just
talking about Girls
multi-generational.
Love Ozzy. I put up a tribute to Ozzy on Facebook. 3 people responded, all girls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think one of them I even knew liked Ozzy. It's like, well, okay. Yeah, he just has that appeal. Yeah, I seen Ozzy on. I wish I could have seen him earlier. You know, he had some amazing, legendary Seattle shows. The Bark at the Moon tour,
Yeah.
Crew opened. It was, I guess, one of the wildest shows ever. Shane swears, and I've heard other people say so. Imagine that, Ozzy on the Bark at the Moon tour, Crew supporting Shout Out the Devil.
Yeah.
That's some rock and roll right there. No Rest for the Wicked was the first time I seen him,
Oh yeah.
and
Okay.
that's.
I wish I'd seen that
yeah,
tour.
Yeah,
That's my last album that I think is really on a level. The whole album is
Yeah.
pretty good. You know?
I go up to No More Tears.
Yeah,
and
most
after
people
that-
do. It's good. I mean, obviously there's some
yeah,
killer stuff.
Yeah, the
but
song No More Tears was all over the radio.
you just
here.
need that song from
that song's amazing.
Yeah, it is a.
And I seen him on that tour, but I want to say I seen him also on the Osmosis tour. Yeah, I did for sure.
Yeah.
Korn opened up. I remember that, and I remember digging them, although I never really got much into them afterwards. But yeah, so glad to say I seen him 3 times. I just wish I could have seen those early shows. The MTV show with Brad Gillis I was referring to. I want to say it's from '82 or so.
Speak of the Devil.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I used to watch that thing nonstop. Of course, I had it on the VHS tape.
The Speak of the Devil
Yeah.
album for the sound of Rudy and Tommy Aldrich, the whole lineup, and Brad just doing his thing. And I've heard people say, "Oh, everyone talks about Brad Gillis because he was with Ozzy for a bit," but you know, and someone like the other guitar player, Night Ranger, better. But Brad had a tone and a ferociousness, even if it was something simple or whatever. Brad really had something. I kind of wished maybe Brad had done a little more with Ozzy. You know, I
Yeah.
think he fit the thing really
No,
good.
he's a pro. you
He
know.
played the Black Sabbath stuff, the riffs. He played them more palm mute, more chunky. He had a thick, warm sound, but like, I don't know, he's just on point. He had a nice full sound and feel, and I like Brad Gillis a lot, really.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing with Night Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Speak of the Devil's amazing.
Mhm.
Obviously, all Sabbath songs. Ozzy,
Yeah.
it's kind of Ozzy's answer to Live Evil. Like, oh, you're gonna put out that album with Ronnie singing my songs? Well,
Yeah.
take this.
You know, and you get to hear him just yelling at the crowd in just a loving way the whole time, and it really gets you pumped. It's such a good album.
It's absolutely a love affair between
Yeah.
Ozzy and the audience,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he really fed off the audience, and they fed off him. Perfect match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the first two, I mean, I'm Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin. I think those are all just as good. But I understand how the first 2 albums are just beyond classic. And it all the way down to the way they're recorded and the players that are on it. The players on the first 2 album, they come from rock. They're like heavy metal records kind of, but they're rock. And it's not overproduced. You know what I mean? And those 2 albums, it is a really great pair. You know, I'll admit I love Bark at the Moon, but there's a couple choruses to get a little bit silly, and there's a couple choruses on Ultimate Sin. They're a little silly. They're trying for sing-along choruses. You know what I mean? But those first 2 albums, man. So from the first Sabbath album, for me, up to the first 4 Ozzy's and Tribute, of course, but for a lot of the world, those first 2 are so special, and it's because they're just real. They're not overproduced. You can just feel everything they do. And when someone plays, you know, when he does a drum fill or whatever, it sounds like a drum. You know, it doesn't sound like, you know, something that's too affected. They're just so real, you know.
Yeah. Sabbath fans must have loved the early 80s because you had still awesome Sabbath albums with Ronnie, and you had Ozzy now solo putting out masterpieces of heavy metal. Yeah, just it was a great time to be alive, and I'm proud to say I was there and digging it all. And now we've lost Ozzy, and it doesn't come as a shock to anybody, really.
I wondered how
suffering.
long there would.
He was suffering
Yeah.
from Parkinson's.
To go from being in Sabbath and being, of course, as everybody said, every documentary says, you know, he's kicked out and had a big comeback. But not only that, but to have his own TV show that does amazing, and have this festival built around you.
Mhm.
That's just insane. That
Yeah.
absolutely insane. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah, obviously, let's not fool anybody. Sharon was behind the scenes, kind of putting everything together, and she did a lot for his career.
She did everything for his
Yeah.
career, and everybody has bones to pick with it, and like, why didn't they get copyrights? And there's funny memes about her being controlling and driving the ship.
She's a tough business.
But I mean, she really did make it happen, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Ozzy, we love you, man. I'm glad you're with Randy again. That reunion is a special thing for sure. Ozzy absolutely loved Randy Rhoads, and rightfully so. And
yeah, I guess he really kind of had to wrangle him at a Quiet Riot. Like,
yeah.
Randy didn't really want to go,
Right. There's all kinds of stories. Dana Strum actually is instrumental in getting Randy and Ozzy together.
And there he was months later on some of the biggest stages. I mean, it was a great combination.
Yeah, by all accounts, he was absolutely enjoying it. So glad that they're at least together. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so, anything else to say about Ozzy?
I just always thought it's so amazing that so many people love Ozzy, and it's just obvious why. He's so likable. His voice is so real. It's almost like when you hear somebody cover a Beatles song and they do their vocal thing, it's like, that's pretty good, but that isn't Paul or John singing, because Paul and John did not do stupid shit with their voices, and Ozzy didn't either. Ozzy keeps it real. He didn't do blues runs all over or like too much vibrato and stuff like that. Like, he just kept it real and delivered the goods, and it didn't have to be perfect because you could just feel it. You could just, some people sing something, or like Dave Lombardo. Might hear a thrash drummer, you hear Dave Lombardo. I have always felt Dave Lombardo. You just feel it, and you feel like some people when they sing, you feel it,
Absolutely.
So yeah, Ozzy is a phenomenon too.
Yeah. We love you, Ozzy. Thank you for watching. One person asked us to do Ozzy reviews, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we have we have a Sabbath review up, and we're gonna hit some more Sabbath albums too, because those are life-changing albums.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you for watching.
Next up, I almost have the Rubber Soul video edited, so that'll be up soon. This will be up first though, because
Yeah.
it's of note right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Very topical. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Jason. That's Peter. Anyway, slice it.